Welcome to the first game on our list. This is going to be Men of War 2, releasing 15 May of 2024. It's going to release with both historical and dynamic campaigns. There will be 3 narrative-driven campaigns. One, you'll lead a desperate Soviet defense during the initial onslaught of the Eastern Front. You'll also be a U.S. commander during the invasion of Normandy, having to improvise with limited resources. And finally, you will be a German officer. You'll step into his shoes and you'll command the retreat to Berlin. Overall, the dynamic campaign sounds absolutely interesting as well. They can be played as both single player and co-op, so there's going to be intense multiplayer. A lot of the beta is focused around PvP and single player. The PvP will be 1v1 to 5v5 with all types of modes, varying from realism to casual. So if you're interested in getting into PvP, now is going to be the time. Overall, stunning visuals and captivating sound. I do feel like the battles are relatively in depth. They can be really engaging, they can provide cinematic experience, and they can be immersive. It's one of the things that kind of drew me to Men of War 2 during the initial. There will be full mod support. I know that's something people love to talk about and bring up in the Steam forums. So, what does the developer describe Men of War 2 as? Experience warfare like never before. Men of War 2 is the anticipated sequel to the highly acclaimed real-time strategy franchise. Is here with all new units, locations, campaigns, game modes, and true trademarks of the series, historical fidelity and action-filled gameplay on the eastern and western fronts of World War II. So overall, a lot of words describing what it's going to be. Hopefully it fulfills all of those promises. I'm really excited to check out Men of War 2. I'm excited to kind of play through some of the single player campaigns, although multiplayer and skirmish kind of stand out to me. I'm not super big on the narrative driven stuff sometimes. I'm not sure what the voice acting is going to be. I don't really remember if it's going to be all in English or if they're going to have German voiceover. Overall, it's actually a really good looking game. I think a lot of the visuals are really stunning. I do agree with a lot of those comments. The gameplay felt interesting. It felt a little bit different than the other PvP games I was playing at the time. There's destructible environments, vehicles stay on the battlefield. There's all types of different types of artillery, nimble airplanes, and realistic models. I believe there was a big uproar about how damage was done to models, whether it was like penetration or if everything just kind of had health. I don't quite remember that whole outburst from the community. There's going to be 45 customizable battalions and 400 different units that await our commands. That's a lot of units. Hopefully, they're fairly varied. I know if I compare it to a lot of other World War II games, there's kind of just like a lot of units that do the same thing. So experience classic beetles from a new perspective. Every location comes to life with a unique set of destructible objects, realistic physics, and immersive sound design. The sound design was fairly okay during the beta. I mean, we fought on the Eastern Front and the Western Front in all types of war games. And if you reference Company of Heroes, we've now been to North Africa. So it's going to be interesting what their take's going to be. Veterans of the series will enjoy the myriad of details, settings, and tweaks available to create your own gameplay experiences. I believe that's one of the big draws to Men of War is the ability to have like full mod support, the PvP as well as the dynamic campaigns. And overall, it's actually a lot of fun. You can kind of control individual units. It's super fun to play. If you're thinking about checking it out, May 15th, 2024, it's one of the games for sure coming in 2024, or at least right around the corner. I don't know if you should expect delays or anything like that, but there's also a few other games coming in May. So just put this one on your radar and let me know your thoughts. Welcome to Strategic Command American Civil War. For the first time in series history, Strategic Command will be taking you to the 19th century battlefields of the American Civil War. But before we dive into the Civil War, let's talk about their upcoming project. Fury Software has a long history providing both DLCs and free content for their games, and I know you're going to be excited for this next one. Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific. I know a lot of people are excited about this front, and I know they really want to dive in and sink their teeth into something fun, especially something that takes place on the Pacific front. Now, let's turn our eyes back to Strategic Command American Civil War. All right, this comes with a 66,000 hex map, by far one of the largest the developers has ever created. And if you're not interested in American Civil War, you have World War II and World War I to choose from. All the games are a ton of fun, and they still receive support today. All right, now, let's dive into what makes this game unique, the river warfare. Something that's not talked about in a lot of Civil War games is how the river warfare kind of turned the tide in a lot of battlefields. Whether you have those huge ironclads or riverboats on the battlefields providing gun support for the infantry as they conduct a combined arms assault. Remember, one of the first wins during the World War One, during the Civil War, was when the Union launched an assault supported by riverboats. However, a lot of those riverboats were destroyed or at least damaged during this assault, but it's something that I don't see talked about a lot. Overall, there is going to be European intervention. There are a few alt history scenarios. It's also going to cover the war in Mexico. As the Civil War divides the United States, the French Emperor Napoleon III is engaged in another battle over control of Mexico, and much more. Overall, there's going to be 6 campaigns. Remember, there's been a free DLC that has released for this game. There's going to be 1861 Blue and Gray all the way to 1864 Make Georgia Howl. New units, obviously, there's tons of new units, including balloons, rangers, monitors, river gunboats, and many more. New technologies. It plays similar to a 4X game, so you're going to have naval engineers, ironclads, skirmishers, and field telegraph. All right, ravine warfare is now possible with waterways you can navigate by 3 types of river vessel. This is something that was crucial during the battles during the Civil War, and like I said, it's not talked about often. There is official mod support, and there are 3D tiles as well as 2D tiles. The game comes with a full-blown editor that will enable you to make your own campaigns or mods. And the developer is big on mods, and they fully support them as well. Overall, it's a wonderful game. You're going to have a great time playing it. There's fog of war. There's tons of decisions you need to make. Nations secede or states secede, and it's just a wonderful time. I can't say that enough. I played it intensely. I played both play by email, and I played through a few single player campaigns as well. I'm absolutely not super knowledgeable in Civil War history, but it is something I not super passionate about. But I do have a few books on it that I'm currently working my way through. Overall, you're going to find something to love, and let's read what the developers have to say about it. So, you will control armies, research, production, and diplomatic policies of the Union or the Confederacy during a time of innovation and dramatic battles. That cannot be stated enough. Check it out, Strategic Command, American Civil War. Welcome back to World War II. This time we find ourselves on the Eastern Front in this authentic and immersive real-time strategy game. This is Steel Division 2, an authentic and intense combined arms strategy game. Thousands of men will be at the control of your fingertips. Let's dive into this game. It has Army General mode, it has skirmish, and it has multiplayer. There are brand new turn based strategic campaigns, new settings on the Eastern Front with a mighty Red Army and Axis powers. Over 600 historically accurate units across 18 divisions will be at your control. Substantial changes to the deck building, new realistic art direction to deliver a more immersive visual style, and stunning sound experience. Revamped combat with a more defined and refined tactical experience. Tons of game mode, both offline, including co op, and massive, absolutely massive 10v10 multiplayer battles. Eugen Systems is known for supporting their games and providing a consistent stream of DLCs as well as updates, and they just released a massive DLC called Tribute to Normandy 44. They have provided some single player content. Command your army and fight your battles. Overall, it's an intense war game. You're going to have a ton of fun, but it is micro heavy. It's one of those micromanagement real time strategy games. However, it can be played as a single player, so you don't need to worry about your opponent's fingers moving faster than yours. It does have an authentic experience. There are some stunning lines of sight and some beautiful visuals. You can zoom all the way down to ground level and get like an intense look at units on the battlefield. There's over 600 units, 25 maps, and absolutely multiple game modes. And it lets you play the way you want and offers hundreds of hours in solo gameplay, multiplayer, and co op. Hundreds of hours is a lot of time to be playing Steel Division 2. Hopefully, your eyes do not bleed from those stunning visuals or that intense combined arms warfare. You're going to lead thousands of men to battle on historically accurate and recreated battlefields. Plan your battalion, your movements, manage your supplies, and execute your strategy, your orders, and understand how your units and which units dominate the battlefield. Every battalion is the same as it was during Operation Bardagatien. Pick a side, so you'll be playing as either the German or the Soviet forces. There have been DLCs that have, I believe, added American forces, but overall, you're going to have a ton of fun. Honestly, I enjoy the way it looks. I enjoy some of the deck building aspects, but I really enjoy the 10v10 multiplayer. I know that's a bit of a meme to make fun of, that it's just kind of just smashing units on the battlefield, but overall, it's been a ton of fun to play, and it's a good learning experience. A lot of people say the game really shines in 1v1 or the smaller 3v3 game modes. But overall, if you're just looking for a casual experience or just looking to get into multiplayer, then you can't go wrong with 10v10. Overall, there is a ton of single player content, and obviously there's endless replayability with the skirmish mode. You're not going to go wrong. It's a fun game. You're going to have a lot to play. And if you're really looking to dive into the Eastern Front without playing those more realistic simulators, then Steel Division is going to be the game for you. Make sure you check it out. Welcome to the hidden gem that is Decisive Campaign's Ardennes Offensive. I'm surprised I don't see more gameplay or more YouTube content on this series, and that truly makes it think it's one of those hidden games that people just do not know about. So what is Decisive Campaigns? Decisive Campaigns Ardennes Offensive is the fourth war game in the Decisive Campaign series, covering battles from the Ardennes between 1944 and January 1945. It brings to life the operational wargaming by lowering the scale just above tactical level. So as you see in this gameplay, we are commanding a large array of troops. We are conducting combined arms warfare, and overall, there's some intense combat that does take place. It is by far one of those hidden games that it's unknown, and it's definitely something you should check out and pick up on sale. By reducing the scale of the battlefield, it brings to life the operational wargaming by lowering the scale just above tactical level. I agree with that. It does make it more accessible. It makes it more fun. It makes it more intense, and you're just going to overall have like a fun time with it. The game comes with huge full campaign scenarios over 16 days, several smaller scenarios focusing on several days of combat and specific parts. It does have some card building aspects to it. Well, not card building, but card aspects to it. You'll be able to play the whole Ardennes campaign on a 1 kilometer hex map with battalion sized units at your command. Each day is divided into 4 turns, including a night turn. Overall, the weather is definitely more detailed than ever before, with 5 different hex states that show different variations of precipitation, snow cover, and frost. This is winter, so make sure you are prepared. Bring your overcoat, bring your pants, bring your shoes, stay warm. Small villages and hamlets that are now visible, as well as height levels. That's something that a lot of tactical games need. They do need those villages, they do need those obstructions, and they do need just varying levels of height to provide you with top attacks, things along those lines. It adds line of sight to this Decisive Campaign series for the first time, so they're evolving and instead of reiterating, something that a lot of series do not do. Hexes are no longer owned. You can expect enemy troops to infiltrate your lines without you noticing. That is a really interesting tactic. I wonder how that plays out in the long term. I've never noticed that before, but I'm glad I read it. Intercept fire, making advances over open terrain, and is a hazardous affair, but also brings dynamicism to the game. That's interesting. You can now switch between your units between March and combat mode. March mode allows you to double the movement, but it makes your units very vulnerable. A lot of war games have this aspect. If you want to move fast on the battlefield, you're going to be exposed. You're going to be in a formation that is not good. Is not a good formation for returning fire, and it makes you really susceptible to receiving and sustaining a lot of casualties. If you move along those roads in a column formation, it's like shooting turkey in a barrel. All right. When attacking a hex, you can now also choose between different intensities of attack, so probe attack and all-out attack. I thought this was super fun during my playthrough, like the recon and force attacks. It just allows a more dynamic affair. You don't always want to all-out attack something. You kind of want to probe that attack, see what the forces are, do a little reconnaissance, hold the line, and maybe you don't want to charge those tanks on the battlefield. You just want to check it out. Overall, make sure you share the video. Out of the frying pan and into the fire, the Titan of Terror itself, WARNO, a realistic, immersive, intense combined arms battlefield simulator. A new take on the popular genre where it brings new ideas into the Cold War gone hot situation. Welcome to WARNO. The Cold War era has just gone hot. There are more than 1,000 different units for you to play with, including the mighty M1A1 Abrams, the French Gazelle, the German Leopard, Spetsnaz forces, and the Su-25 Frogfoot all make an appearance in this Cold War battle simulator. It's going to come with absolutely five massive turn-based strategic army general campaigns centered around NATO syntax and the Warsaw Pact Central Group of Forces. The Army General campaigns let you command hundreds of units and military formations all the way down to the platoon level. These forces may include the U.S. 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment and the 3rd Armored Division. There's going to be 8 scripted operations, which will allow you to undertake daring, combined arms, tactical combat missions that tell captivating stories of an all too real conflict. The Cold War is extremely popular right now, and a Cold War gone hot is always popular. And I'm excited we're getting tons and tons of content with this. There's obviously going to be PvP, single player, and skirmish. There's going to be a 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3, 1v1, 2v2, 4v4, and 10v10 for the more casual experience. Overall, a lot of people say the game truly shines at that 1v1 level, but overall, I do enjoy 10v10. It is a bit difficult to find options outside of prime time right now. You're going to take the war across a variety of game modes, including a standalone skirmish mode, as well as a playable solo, cooperative, and multiplayer modes. Take advantage of of a host of quality enhancements catering towards new players, and that is something that does not evolve enough. There are tons of quality of life changes in Warno, and I would like to see them improved upon, because right now you can't save some as defaults. So overall, you do need to kind of go through that tedious task of assigning your units whether you want them to attack, hold fire, or attack automatically. They've streamlined a lot of this approach and really made the game far more accessible for the casual player. So no longer do you need to like outmaneuver or outclick your opponent. In this game, you can kind of just set up your units, have them engage while you're currently engaged somewhere else. Overall, the combined arms tactics are something to behold. Watching the jets just drop napalm while artillery just shells an infantry unit, and your tanks are crossing the battlefield under intense ATGM fire is a sight to behold, and it's something I enjoy watching. But once you get down to those real close levels, you can kind of see the battle take place, and it can be a bit distracting because there's a massive battlefield and thousands of troops for you to control. Overall, there's an array of famous military formations. It does come with deck building. There's been tons of groups, tons of things added during the early access mode. Overall, they've improved a lot, they've changed a lot, and they brought in a bunch of new ideas to kind of a new genre. I would say the Cold War Gone Hot is relatively new, and at least new to the casual audience and the new war game experience. Overall, WARNO stands for Warning Order. I hope to see you on the battlefield. Let me know if you pick it up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video. YouTube loves when you share the video. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Is it good? Is it bad? It's great. It's amazing. All right, guys. Peace.